Well, today is the day where everything will change or has changed, especially for DC Films. Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix. My name is Chris Wong. If you've been on social media this past hour or 2 hours, you've seen the headlines. This is huge, not only for Warner Brothers Discovery, but for DC Films as well. Coming from Variety, Toby Emmerich steps down as Warner Brothers Pictures Group chairman. This is huge. This was the head honcho who made all the decisions for every movie, including DC. This guy has finally stepped down. And I mean step down. I mean, he's not totally out. He's going to have some producing deals, probably to fulfill his contract that is set to end soon. Well, that leaves an open spot for who's going to run Warner Brothers. The Hollywood Reporter, Michael DeLuca, Pam Abdi reached deal to lead Warner Brothers film division. What's interesting was that Michael DeLuca was in New Line before, like in 2001, kicked him out, and now he returns 21 years later to be the head of Warner Brothers. Warner Bros. Discovery chief David Zaslav's strategy as he shapes the company is to create 3 verticals, each with its own leadership. Warner Bros. New Line under DeLuca and Abdi, DC and Animation. DC Films President Walter Hamada will report to DeLuca and Abdi until new leadership is identified and the head of the animation vertical is yet to be named. So this does tell you right here that they want separate studios. They've got New Line that's already established. They've got Animation already established. Now they want DC Films. They want a DC Films studio, finally. And then somebody is going to be doing the DC Films portion. And it doesn't look like it's going to be Walter Hamada. It does say there that he is kind of temporary until an actual leader comes in and leads DC Films. All those Warner Media people are pretty much gone. Jason Kylar and Sarnoff. Toby Emmerich is effectively gone from an executive position, and I think Walter Hamada will be leaving real soon. But there's more interesting nuggets within that article, not to mention that David Zaslzav has reached out for help. Now, I already did a video on which he reached out to Alan Horn, and Alan Horn may be expected to be in an advisory role. He doesn't want to be an executive in any position. He just wants to advise once leadership has been established. But what's also interesting is David Zaslzav reached out to Bob Iger, the ex-CEO of Disney. David Zaslzav is super serious in getting his studio together. But there's one little nugget that kind of is, it's very interesting. Boris Kidd from the Hollywood Reporter, and then there's this nugget. Sources say Zaslzav has asked Todd Phillips, the multi-hyphenate who created dark $2019 billion grosser Joker, to do more in the DC universe, potentially acting as an advisor, though he will not serve in an executive capacity. And I wouldn't be opposed for Todd Phillips getting more opportunities. He certainly deserves it. His Joker made over $1 billion. It won many Academy Awards, and it by far surpasses anything a studio has ever wanted from an auteur filmmaker. But seeing that Toby Emmerich stepped down, Todd Phillips is kind of stepping up to an advisory role. Did Todd Phillips remind David Zaslzav of what Toby Emmerich tried to do with the Joker film? Let me remind you, this is coming from the playlist 2 years ago. In a report from THR talking about the recent decision by Warner Media to send Warner Brothers' 2021 film slate to HBO Max the same time the films arrive in theaters, there is a suggestion that Toby Emmerich was not a fan of Joker and never wanted the film to get made. The report claims that Emmerich was never interested in releasing Joker and actually cut the budget to discourage Todd Phillips from making the film. However, as we know, Phillips was not deterred and still wanted to bring Joker to the big screen. So Emmerich sold off half of the movie to another partner studio and begrudgingly went into production. In fact, it's reported that the biggest cheerleader for getting Joker made was worldwide marketing president Blair Rich, who actually isn't with Warner Brothers any longer. You can infer from that whatever you please. Yeah, I mean, I can infer that Emmerich probably got her canned because it wasn't going his way. Well, now Emmerich is canned as an executive. Now, I also want to point out in a Variety article that even though Todd Phillips is an advisory for the DC Universe, it says there that he does not have an expertise for the whole DC Universe. So it's probably he's going to advise over the Black Label films, things that he wanted to do, these obscure villains getting their own one-off movies. And I feel like maybe Todd Phillips didn't want Joker 2. I feel like the studio couldn't figure out what to do because they got this huge billion-dollar movie with lots of awards. Usually execs are like, let's just make a sequel to that. But maybe Todd Phillips wants to do, I don't know, other things. Like, I don't know, Lex Luthor, the movie and stuff like that. Black Label films, which is probably what he's going to advise over. But what's interesting is Dave Zaslzav probably would like those Black Label films, heavy hitters, possibly even award-winning type material, but he's also looking for that connected DC universe. And whoever is going to come in as the leadership for DC Films, the head honcho, the Kevin Feige for DC Films, is going to be the one that shapes that. And if Dave Zaslzav is actually talking to Todd Phillips and asking him to be an advisory role, that's great for auteur filmmakers as well. Could mean that Dave Zaslzav is ready to respect these auteur filmmakers like Todd Phillips and trusting them with their projects, trusting them with their vision, which could mean a good thing for filmmakers such as Zack Snyder. Now we know that Todd Phillips loves Watchmen. He talked high praise about Watchmen. And in the going away message for Alan Horn, he talked about Alan Horn respecting filmmakers such as, and he named, Christopher Nolan or Zack Snyder or himself. So you do know that he has at least Nolan and Snyder's name in his periphery of auteur filmmakers at Warner Brothers. Now, I know what you're wondering, and I was wondering the same thing. As I've told you before, the Restore The Snyderverse, Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 will never happen unless something happens to Toby Emmerich in which he steps down from an executive role. Walter Hamada is gone. Once those two are gone, then there is a chance that Restore The Snyderverse or Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3 could happen. But seeing that everything is going to be reported back to David Zaslzav anyway, I still want to know, what does David Zaslzav think about Zack Snyder's Justice League? What does he think about Restore The Snyderverse? Would David Zaslzav call up or talk to Zack Snyder, reach out to him for an advisory role? I don't know. Zack Snyder right now has multiple projects going on over at Netflix. He's got his Army of the Dead universe. He's got his Rebel Moon universe. He's got Twilight of the Gods as well. There is a lot of projects that he's trying to make over there. But Netflix is a big concern for me. Right now, they're cutting budgets, laying people off, and headlines like this really worry me. Netflix will stop greenlighting quote-unquote expensive vanity projects such as The Irishman. This tendency to do anything to attract talent and giving them carte blanche is going away, says one source. Which to me, I hope Snyder's projects are safe at Netflix. I hope they're not going to get budget cuts or, say we're not going to work on certain projects from Zack Snyder anymore. Netflix has got to do what Netflix has got to do, and that is change their business plan. So at this time, I don't think any of the DC films will change at this moment. I think they're going to wait until a new DC Films leader comes in before doing any major changes to the DC universe. Also, they're still fulfilling the contracts for all these projects that have already been shot, is ready to release within this year and next year, so not much will change from that. I would say that if a new leader for DC Films has been established within this year, and these movies are set to come out, and if David Zaslzav wants to continue this universe, there could be some changes and minor reshoots or adding extra scenes to make it all work together. I don't expect to see much announcements for new movies until we get that new DC chief executive. Alright, what do you think about these new executive changes for Warner Brothers Discovery? Are you excited? Are you celebrating right now? And are you ready? Because everything will change. Share your thoughts in the comments down below.